So here our goal is to find the distance between the points minus 3 over 2 comma 4 and 5 over 2 comma minus 2. And so to do this, we're going to need our distance formula, which as you might have already learned hopefully is in our log tables, so you don't have to memorize it. And so d is going to be equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 all to be squared plus y2 minus y1 all to be squared. And so this is basically the formula. We'll just actually give you a quick explanation as to where it comes from. So if we just draw a pair of axes and we've got any 2 points, so let's say it was up here and over here somewhere. If we just draw a red line to connect these 2 points, the distance between them is basically a form of Pythagoras' theorem in disguise. So it's going to be the change in x values squared. So we're going to have this little value up here to be squared. So that's going to be that. And then the change in y values to be squared as well gives us the overall distance to be squared, and then we just need to take the square root of this to find the actual distance in question. That's just a very brief explanation as to why we use this formula. But now we actually need to go ahead and label our points. So the point x1, y1, I'm just going to say is the first point in the question. So no point writing that out again. It's just going to be labeled here in the actual question. And then x2, y2 is going to be the second point here that we are given. And so now we can just plug these values into our formula to find the actual distance. So d is going to be now x2 minus x1. So we have 5 over 2 for x2, and then minus x1 is actually going to give us a plus 3 over 2 because we had minus 3 over 2 there. So that's going to be our x values plugged in, and that's going to be squared in a second. And then for y2 minus y1, we're going to have minus 2 minus 4. So that's going to be our y values there plugged in. So now we've got all our numbers in, and so we're done actually labeling points, and the most of the thinking is done basically. We just need to start simplifying our actual equation. So we're going to find d as just a simple number. And so we have 5 over 2 plus 3 over 2, which is going to give us 8 over 2. So we're going to have 8 over 2, all to be squared. You can obviously simplify that fraction, and we will here in a second, but I'm just taking it nice and slow here so we don't miss anything. And then for our second points, we're going to have our second, difference inside the formula. We're going to have minus 2 minus 4, which is going to give us minus 6, and that's going to be squared here as well. So now just once again, taking it step by step. So we have 8 over 2, and that is going to be equal to 4, so we have 4 squared here. And then we have minus 6 to be squared, which is going to be the same as 6 to be squared, but we're just going to keep it the same because we can actually plug it straight in our calculator as it is. So 4 squared is 16, and minus 6 squared is going to be 36. So we have 16 plus 36. So our final answer here is going to be the square root of 52. And then if you want to write it as a decimal, it would be roughly equal to 7.21 to 2 decimal places. So that is the distance between the 2 points we're given in the question, and that is it for this one.